This meeting is being recorded.
All right, baby. Now, welcome everybody to JNC's podcast. You got Jacob, you got Chris, and you got he's not here. What a surprise! He's not here, man. Oh way. You don't care about it. You don't care. You don't care. We C is not here. Couldn't be here today, but you got the freaking handsome men are here. You got
Yeah.
Jacob and you got Chris, baby. We ready. The show must go on. Start and Sits is the show today. Let's get into it, baby. How you doing, Chris? How you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. Another good week of football. It was beautiful fantasy wise. I mean, it went 1-1 this week, but it's a long season and
Yeah.
ready to talk some more football,
Oh
baby.
yeah, it's a long season. We're on this recording. It is Thursday. We're getting close to the Steeler and Bengal game. Before we go quickly into the injuries and stuff, let's discuss a little bit how you feel going in. It's Steelers and the Browns tonight. How you
Steelers and the
feel?
Browns. I'm a little iffy on this one. Like we were talking about, Thursday night games are really funny.
Yeah,
It could go either way. Could predict the blowout. It could be a low scoring game, high scoring game. But if we're just gonna just talk about this one game right now, I do have the Browns winning this one, unfortunately. Just because we can't really get anything rolling offensively, especially with Mitch Trubisky at quarterback. Najee Harris is off to a slow start. I think he is gonna, have a good game, but I don't think this is the week. Especially with the Browns defense. You got
yeah,
Miles Garrett
it's
there,
pretty
but
tough.
I do predict the loss today though. From the
Think so?
Steelers. Yeah,
Well,
I see
so
that, especially because Nick Chubb is he started seeing so hot, and it's crazy because we were not too low, but we were pretty low on him in the beginning before the season started. Where his ADP was and everything,
yeah,
but
you know what it is?
he's
It's
been
the
off to
fact
a hot
that
start.
Yeah, it's the fact that Kareem Hunt is the reason why you're low on him. Because the
Yeah.
week one, Kareem Hunt got the two touchdowns and he was
Hmm.
the performer. And then week two, Chubb was the performer. So with Chubb being his ADP like a late first round or early second, it was really hard to draft somebody like that because he doesn't get the passing work and he don't get the goal line. It was Kareem Hunt.
Yep.
But he ended up eating last week, and that third touchdown, fantasy owners probably loved it, but the team didn't love
Yep.
it as the Jets came back from that game. But listen, I think if TJ Watt was there, I think we're talking about a completely different game. I think it's a
Yeah.
very close
Definitely.
game, but
Yeah, he makes the difference.
I would agree that I think the Browns that since they're home, I think they'll win. So let me ask you as a Steelers fan, if the Browns win, let's just say 27-7, for example, or 27-10. You think
Okay.
Steelers are gonna pull the plug and bring in Kenny Pickett, or you think they're still gonna wait?
I would want him to come back, but I don't think they are. I don't think they are. I think I don't know. I don't think they are. I think they're gonna wait a little bit longer. As much
Yeah,
as I want Kenny Pickett to come back, I have a funny feeling they're not. Then they're not gonna give up on
I heard
Mitch too early.
yeah, I heard something. I don't know if it was on the radio or not today, but someone said Trubisky is basically the same as Ben Roethlisberger. They can't move the ball, they can't throw. They said that Trubisky's arm doesn't even look like it has range, and it's maybe is the O line isn't great. Najee's banged up, so
Hmm.
yeah, I would agree that I think I'll take the Browns in this game. So let's
Yeah.
get into the news and notes as this is Thursday. This is the news that we're gonna talk about that we got in today. The latest news. The very latest one is Keenan Allen gets into another limited practice. So it looks like Keenan Allen should be ready to go uh, on Sunday against Jacksonville. You're starting, you're putting him in if he's ready to go. You plug him in. Not much to say there. Panthers running back Christian McCaffrey has been added to the injury report with an ankle injury. He was limited at practice today. So I have something to add to that as they asked Christian McCaffrey about him being on the injury report, and this is what he said. He said, "At this point, if I went to take a leak during practice, I'll end up on the injury report." So I'm gonna take that
Wow.
as he's fine.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna take that he's fine. I think they're just trying to give him, rest up a little bit because they know his injuries.
Yeah.
Gabe Davis from the Buffalo Bills, 100% confident he will play. Let me ask you a question. because Odell Beckham is really in the rumors of a lot of teams. And
Yeah.
if he was to come back to if he was to go to the Bills, Gabe Davis value, where do you see his value? Because if he goes signs with the Bills when he's healthy and ready.
That's tough because we know when healthy how good OBJ is.
Yeah,
And you know how big of importance he was to the Rams, especially late in the season and in the Super Bowl, and in the playoff run in the Super Bowl. Um, but I think his value does take a hit a little bit. Um, but I still think that he's not gonna get the target share isn't gonna be taken away from Gabe Davis as much
that's
though.
much. It would. I think it would scare me
Yeah,
if he actually would. If I was a Gabe Davis
yeah.
owner, I think it would scare me. I'd be really concerned if the rumors really do become true. But you have until like late November before you find that out. Um, Lazard, Watkins, and Watson all downgraded to did not practice today for Green Bay. So not a do not practice on a Thursday is kind of a big deal. It
Lazard,
that
Watkins, and Watson, and those are all Green Bay's.
all Green Bay receivers.
I
So
mean,
if
it's good news for people that got AJ Dillon, Aaron Jones.
that's pretty much
But I
it,
mean,
and
yeah.
and to be honest, if you know, all three of them do not play, Romeo Dubs has to be considered a start at this
Oh,
point.
yeah,
There's
you
like
have to
nobody.
start him.
It's like him and Randall Cobb.
Absolutely.
Him and Randall Cobb, you could probably plug them in, even though they face Tampa Bay, but like they have to get attention.
Hmm.
But like you said, you're excited if you're Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon fan, but that's some crazy stuff there. Um, DeAndre Swift returns to practice. That's good news. He played. Hopefully he's not on a time clock. Mike McCarthy from Dallas, hints that Gallup could return week 3 with his knee. How do you feel about Gallup returning with a backup quarterback? No Dak Prescott. He's coming off an ACL. Gallup. How do you feel? Are you waiting to see what he does?
I mean, yeah, definitely to see what he does because I don't know how I feel about it because we talked about how we like CD Lamb going into the season as an guy. We saw nothing really happen with Dak. Then Dak got hurt. Now you put Cooper Rush in, and Cooper Rush looked great in his first start.
Yeah, he didn't do bad.
CD Lamb looked good. He got a lot of looks. He did really good. Pollard went off for a good game. So
Yeah, he
I
had a
don't
good
know. I
fight.
guess you gotta see because now we don't know if it's just
Yeah,
a fluke game from Cooper Rush or if he's gonna be this consistent. But yeah, I don't really know. I think you just sit him down
yeah. Wait and see.
for now.
Chris. Yeah, Chris Godwin and Julio Jones misses Thursday's practice. So with that news, we're also going to bring up the news that Cole Beasley is now signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So if Chris Godwin and Julio Jones and Mike
And
Evans for
Mike
sure,
Evans suspended.
Mike
Yeah.
Evans is suspended. He's for sure not playing. Chris Godwin and Julio Jones misses practice on Thursday. I think Russell Gage, I think Cole Beasley, you could easily plug them in your lineups. I think there will be
Definitely.
solid pickups if one of these guys do end up playing, like Chris Godwin or Julio Jones, I think that's a must start. I think Tom Brady's gonna trust a lot on one of these guys if they're able to play. If they're both able to play, plus Cole Beasley and Russell Gage, it could be it's better for Tom Brady if you're playing him, but probably be more confident starting Godwin out of all of them if they're all playing that game. Rondell Moore from the Cardinals logs another do not practice on Thursday with a hamstring injury. Rondell Moore is, I really liked him going into the season. He just can't find a way to get into the field. And the latest bit of news here is J.K. Dobbins gets a full practice on Wednesday. It's a good sign for all the J.K. Dauber owners. I still wouldn't plug him in this week. We'll talk more about him later. Traylon Burks' ankle gets a limited practice on Wednesday. One thing I will say to everybody that all the limited practices on Wednesday, not every report is really an injury. They're just like giving their players rest. There's only real concerns. If they don't practice on Thursday, there's a real concern
Mhm.
there. Um, uh, Last one, George Kittle finally gets a limited practice on the field with his groin. Hopefully, George Kittle is a start for all George Kittle's owners, and he can get him back in. Hunter Renfro not seen at practice because of his concussion. We don't know his update just yet. We'll probably find out tomorrow, which tomorrow will be another podcast that will upload on Saturday. Today will be uploaded tomorrow. So that is all the news and notes of the latest here tonight on this Thursday. That of this recording, that's all the latest news. So let's get into a topic that Chris brought up to me earlier, and we're gonna talk about it here before we get into our starts and sits of the week. Amon St. Brown has really risen up and caught a lot of attention the last 2 weeks and his last couple of weeks in the beginning, the last ending weeks of last season. And he really has done good. So let's talk about him and let's see if right now, if where do we have him at, how we rank the league. So I'm gonna give you the stand and let's roll into it.
Definitely. So, so like you said, like there's been a lot of talks on other podcasts, news around the league that it's only the second week, but he does look elite. He does look really good.
Yeah, he looks good.
And that raises that raises the question: where do you? So we did rankings in the beginning before the season started for fantasy of our
Yeah.
top 10. Does he push? Does he push anybody out of the top 10? And where would you, if we were to do a redraft right now, where do you rank him in that conversation? Is he in your top 10 or is he still fringe 10, top 11? Because honestly, like where we ranked them, I don't remember off the top of my head our rankings exactly, but
we didn't
doing
have him in
better
our
than
top 10. Yeah.
no, we didn't, but he's doing better than CD Lamb. He's
Yeah.
doing better than Mike Evans. He's doing better than I mean Devontae Adams had one bad game, but he's doing better than a lot of receivers we had ranked in our top 10, and we didn't even consider him top 10. Does he push anybody out
Um
for you?
so right now he's ranked at number 4 right now after the two hot starts. The one thing I would say is that a lot of things do come into it. Like, you know, for example, CeeDee Lamb, he loses Dak Prescott. So he has a backup quarterback. So if you're asking me right now, would I take Amon over CeeDee? Yeah, I'll take him over CeeDee Lamb. Like if I'm a CD owner and I pull off a trade, at this point you will have to give up CD Lamb and another piece just
Yep.
to get Amon. So
Yep.
Amon is really good. Mike Evans, I'll keep Mike Evans
Okay,
over.
so let's do a would you rather okay, just to see. So you say you're gonna take CD over Amon-Ra St. Brown.
No, I'm taking Amon
Uh,
over CD.
we take Amon. Okay,
Yeah, Mike
so
Evans was my peak, I think.
so Amon-Ra and Mike Evans.
I'm taking Mike Evans for the rest of the
You're
season.
taking Mike Evans
Yeah.
for the rest of the season. Okay, rest of the season you're taking Amon-Ra St. Brown or you're taking AJ Brown.
Um. I am gonna I'm gonna go Amon-Ra Brown because there's more passing involved. Jalen Hurts looks great, but
Mhm.
he still looks like like he runs first, and the touchdowns is one of my biggest concern. AJ Brown hasn't got a touchdown yet, so I'll go Amon.
No, no, definitely. All right, so we got Amon-Ra St. Brown or Hollywood Brown.
Oh, Amon. It's not even
Okay,
close.
not even close. Okay.
Nah, it's not even
We got
close.
okay. And remember, we're taking it for the whole season, so
Oh yeah,
we're
because
taking
with
account to
Hollywood,
the whole season.
with
Yeah,
Hollywood, I'm considering that after the 6 weeks, when Hopkins comes
yeah,
back, I don't even know I don't even know what he's gonna get as target share. So that's another reason
right.
why I'm taking him on. That's a solid wide receiver one.
All right, a few more. Gonna go to a few. Amon-Ra St. Brown or Michael Pittman.
Or Warren Pittman. I'm sorry. It's just
Pittman?
it's it's more of a love effect. It's an attachment issue.
Okay, okay, okay. This one's interesting because this guy has gone up to a semi-slow start. Amon-Ra St. Brown or Cortland Sutton.
Rest of the season, um, I'm gonna go
That was
on.
tough for me.
No, I lied. I'm going Colin Sutton.
Cortland Sutton. Okay,
I'm going Colin Sutton.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, I think the offense is gonna pick up a little.
Yeah, I think they
And
have to pick
last
him up.
one, I got Amon-Ra St. Brown or Rashad Bateman.
I'll go Amon for the same reasons why I went for Amon for AJ. Is the quarterback run first, offenses, there's more of a chance Amon goes crazy and he scores more points. For the rest of the year, I'll go Amon. What
Okay.
about this? What about Amon St. Brown or Michael Thomas?
Ooh, that's a good one.
They're both around the same ADP
Uh,
too, if I
yeah,
remember.
and that's the thing. And that's the thing. I was trying to choose guys who are like around his ADP.
But you
I'm
can't
not
even
gonna
say
choose
guys
obvious
that
ones like
you can't even say guys who are in the top who are in our top 10 because he's ranked number 4 right now. So there's only three
okay,
people higher than him, which is Cooper Cup. I think Justin Jefferson is higher than him,
yeah,
and oh no,
Stephon Diggs.
it's probably Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle actually. That's on top of him and Cooper
And
Cup
Stephon Diggs after this week that
and Stephon Diggs.
this
Yeah,
week, yeah.
yeah, they're all on top of him right now. So besides those guys, like okay, will you take Amon Ra or Jalen Waddle for the rest of the season?
I'll go with Jalen Waddle.
I would go Jalen Waddle as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
See, that's the thing. I'm trying to go with guys that are like around his
yeah, but you know what? At that
but
point, he already
probably
surpasses ADP right
yeah,
now. So we got to go like somewhere closer. So
definitely. Oh, for sure. So let's see. All right, so you all right. So I mean, I'm not even gonna. I mean, you're obviously not gonna take. You're gonna take Cooper Cup for the rest of the season.
oh yeah, I
You're
think
gonna
Cooper
take
Cup.
Justin Jefferson for the
Oh
rest of
yeah.
the season. You're gonna take Stephon Diggs for the rest of the season.
Are you taking
Okay.
Jamar Chase for the rest
This
of the
was
season?
interesting. Mm,
You taking Jamar Chase for the rest of the
Jamar
season?
Chase.
Joe Burrow slow start. Jamar Chase had one good week, one bad week. Since Bengals are off to a
You know,
slow start.
you know what? I take Jamar Chase. I think they're gonna bounce back.
If I
I think they're gonna bounce back and they're gonna
if
come back.
if you're a Jamar Chase owner and if you
Hmm.
like Amon St. Brown, would you trade Jamar Chase for Amon St. Brown and let's say RB? I think that'd be like on your bench.
Hmm.
Amon St. Brown and just like a Jeff Wilson, for example. You trade Jamar
Okay.
Chase for that?
Nah,
But no. Okay.
nah. I don't. Yeah, I don't. I think they're gonna pick it. I don't see this. I don't see this slow start continuing. I think they're gonna break out of it, and you know, I just love Jamar Chase. I think he's just
No, he's
really
he's talented. He's talented. I don't think
all
I
right.
could pull off that trade unless I get something more.
All right, so last two. This one's interesting because the quarterback situation, the target share, Devontae Adams or Amon-Ra St. Brown for the rest of the season.
I will have to stick with Devontae just because it's Devontae
Okay.
and he's technically on a better team, so he has more opportunity to score. It's just Detroit is just the thing about Detroit is too is like Detroit the first week they were down by a lot and they had a lot of garbage time and one time on.
Right.
This week they just started off hot and they were the better team and they beat Washington. So I think Detroit's gonna throw the ball a lot, whether they're getting destroyed or if
Right.
they're not. They're gonna get garbage time and they're gonna get scores. And Amon looks like that guy. So
Okay. And
I,
last one, and we move on from this topic. Amon-Ra St. Brown or Christian Kirk.
they're both
That
like
one I love.
if if
I,
if
I
they're both similar, I'm gonna go Amon just because I think Amon is a better wide
yeah,
receiver. I'm gonna go talent, and that in
yeah,
that
definitely,
aspect, I'm gonna go talent. Christian Kirk has been doing great, but I'm going
mhm,
talent.
definitely. Yeah, that was hard for me too, but I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is the right choice.
Yeah,
I
I'm
love
def.
what I love this sophomore year from Trevor Lawrence. I think he looks
Oh
great,
no,
and
listen, he's doing
um,
great. He's doing really good, and he
yeah,
goes against the Chargers, and he might even get to show out what he does.
yeah. All
Yeah,
right,
so
so
that
that's it for Amara St. Brown take. It was
that
just interesting because I was hearing, I probably heard like two podcasts the other today, and that was one of their main topics, and it was interesting because it
it
is
is
true
interesting,
where
and you
his
know what else?
ADP was in the beginning of the
Yeah.
season is and
It's
where
interesting,
he's
and
doing
you
right
know
now.
what?
It's
You know what else too is that when people talk about the next year's Cooper Cup, it's always around the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth pick. You're gonna get that
exactly.
stud,
Yep.
and And if you're in a keeper league and you drafted Amon St. Brown, I think you're keeping him for next year because
Yeah.
clearly he's not going to be a fourth or fifth round pick anymore. If he continues this and he finishes top 10, top 15, he's going to be very high in the draft. I think he's a clear keeper for your league.
Yep, and
And
everybody that reached for him, congratulations, because
yeah,
that was a good
listen, if you
pickup.
reach for him and you believed, I had questions because of TJ Hawkinson, who clearly is the one that's not getting the attention, but I had questions that he was there. DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, DJ Chark, you know, it really made me question to not draft him. And if you question like me, you're probably kicking yourself now because you wish you probably drafted him. But you miss some, you lose some. But at least I have Drake London to help make me feel a little better about that. But makes me feel a little better. Um, listen, one last thing. Did you know that Amon St. Brown knows every single wide receiver that got drafted before him? That kid is determined, bro.
What? Or like in like his actual
Like his actual
draft
draft.
class?
He knows
Oh
every
wow.
like in Hard Knocks, he said the exact
Yeah.
order of what kid got drafted before him and what school they came from. He said Jamar Chase,
Wow.
LSU, Elijah Moore, wherever he came from. And you know what he said? And in the pros game after they beat the Commanders, there was a wide receiver that the Washington Commanders drafted over him, and that rookie didn't even play. Oh, he's not a rookie no more. He's a sophomore. He
Yeah.
only got like 2 snaps against the Commanders, and he said, "I'm coming for everybody that had drafted a wide receiver before me." And he said they drafted a wide receiver before me. He barely played. He just called them out.
Yep.
Like he just called them out. He barely played. So that
Listen,
kid,
I'll
listen,
definitely be kicking myself.
listen, he's a dog. Yeah, forget about fantasy. If you're an NFL owner right now, especially the Commanders,
Def-
because if you drafted him, you had Terry McLaurin, uh,
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Ahmad, and then you have
Oh
Josh,
my god.
freaking
Jahan Dotson.
Jahan Dotson, and then Curtis Samuel. Like
Yeah.
your wide receivers are stacked, but everybody's kicking
That would have
themselves.
been crazy. Yeah.
Probably besides Jamar Chase right now, you're not kicking yourself. Like
Hmm.
Elijah Moore. You know what? Let's talk about that real quick. Elijah Moore has been really
Hmm.
good. He looked like a stud last year, but now 2 weeks, wide receiver 54, wide receiver 45. At the end of the week, he's not looking good, and you could
Yeah.
probably
I still
say,
Wilson comes back and then see what happens
yeah.
from there. And then after that, then you can make your decision whether you're gonna drop him, you're gonna miss
I
trade
think you
bait,
have to keep
whatever.
him because he's still a stud. It's just he's not being
Right.
used as crazy as much as he was.
Hmm.
He's still the leader in snaps. He's on the field the most with the Jets. So eventually, something has to happen. He's just that special. But it's
And when he's playing
interesting.
the outside,
No, he's slot.
he's slot. Oh wow. I'm surprised
He's
he hasn't really
he's slot,
because
and then he
slot
moves
guys really
slot.
get
He goes back and forth for slot and wide.
yeah.
So it is interesting. I do think that he needs to pick that he ends up picking up eventually. But
Yeah.
that was a lot of Amon Ra's talk, and he deserves it because he's starting off hot. He's starting off as a wide receiver 4 right now. He's doing well, and that's great. If you have him, hopefully he keeps it up. Let's talk about our starts and sits throughout the week. Let's get right into it. Let's go to our start and our quarterback. Who is your quarterback start of the week, Chris?
My quarterback start of the week is Matthew Stafford. Going up against the Cardinals, that gave up 40-something points to the Chiefs week one. And then they won the second game, but they were getting blown out by the second half by the Raiders. I think Matthew Stafford goes off against his defense, regardless of his elbow issue. Besides week one, week two he looked great. Cooper Cup continues to lead the league in fantasy receivers right now. That's his go-to guy. Like I said, against his defense, I think Matthew Stafford is a great start, solid start. There's
Yeah,
no questions that you start him.
the Arizona defense is non-existent right now, so that's definitely a great start. He was my start of the week last week, and he produced. My quarterback
Hmm.
start of the week, Joe Flacco. It's not a very popular name. Not a listen. If you have a quarterback who's struggling, if you have a Russell Wilson, if you have a Tom Brady, I think Joe Flacco, you plug him in. Did you know that Joe Flacco leads the league? Excuse me, in pass attempts. He has more pass attempts than
Oh wow.
every quarterback in the league. He's already at 100. something pass attempts. I don't have the exact number, but he's done 50 plus for the last 2 games. And for both
Wow.
games, he has thrown for over 300 yards. The only difference was that last week he threw 3 touchdowns. So he ended his fantasy week was last week he ended with 34.88 points, 307 yards passing, and 4 passing touchdowns. And I think that against the Cincinnati Bengal defense, that Cooper Rush did almost 20 points with in fantasy, I think Joe Flacco could get you over the hump. I think that you can start him. He's not that sexy name that you want to start, but
Yep.
ignore it. Like he's thrown already a bunch of times. I would start Joe Flacco over Russell Wilson. I truly would start him. I would start him over Tom Brady. I don't like the matchups. Listen, you guys might not like it, but I'm going Joe Flacco to start as my quarterback start of the week. Let's go. We have C's start and sits as well because he couldn't make it. So I will say his start of the week, even though he's not here. His quarterback start of the week was Jared Goff. Jared Goff has been a solid start. He's been doing great. Can you find out who he plays this week? I did not get to check that. But
Minnesota.
listen, Minnesota, that's a great start. You saw they're not similar, but you saw what Jalen Hurts did. Um, it looks like the Vikings defense is pretty
Yeah.
solid, but like we said, Detroit has been passing the ball a lot. I think it's a good matchup. I think you could start Jared Goff. Me personally, I will start Matthew Stafford, Joe Flacco, and then Jared Goff in that order. But still a solid start if you're having questions at your quarterback position. If you drafted Trey Lance as your quarterback 1 and you need a quarterback, Jared Goff is a solid start. Chris, give us your running back start of the week.
Okay. Back. I wish I would have noticed that I put him before this, but they obviously, I mean, he's nothing to everybody that's listening tomorrow because this game is coming up in a little bit. But I put Kareem Hunt. Obviously Kareem Hunt had a 50-50 start, had a good week game week 1, okay week 2. But against the Steelers, not having TJ Watt, not having that pass rush um against the
Yeah.
Browns, I think he's gonna favor from that. We already know he's the receiving back on the team. He's gonna get a lot of those. There's not really gonna be any pressure on Brissett in this game. And like I said, when TJ Watt is not there, the defense is not the same. Yeah, they have other pieces around them that make them great, but TJ Watt is the leader of that
Yeah.
defense. He's the leader of that team, and I think Kareem Hunt just has a great game this week. So he's definitely my start of the week.
Listen, he should have a solid game tonight. I think you could start him. If you want to come up with another name, you can look for it now, and I'll give you some time. But Kareem Hunt, definitely a solid start. I agree 100% across the board. My running back start of the week, Jeff Wilson from San Francisco 49ers. Um, to Price got hurt out for 4 to 6
Oh, that's a
weeks.
good one. I actually have him starting.
Yeah.
My team.
Elijah Mitchell is out for 8 weeks. Trey Lance out for the season. I still cry a little bit in the inside. Out for the season. The only one that's gonna take carries from him is gonna be Debo Samuel. It doesn't matter. He has a great. He's gonna be the main back. And if you're struggling with injuries, all the injuries that we just went through of do not practice and did not practice, you can put him in your flex. Jeff Wilson is gonna have a solid start, I believe, and what he's gonna do. Jimmy Garoppolo's back, so their system is gonna be run differently. I trust that system. They're gonna run the ball really well. I think Jeff Wilson finishes with 15 points in a full PPR league. Mark that down. C's running back start of the week, James Robinson. I don't even think this is even a question. I think James Robinson has kind of took over this backfield again. I don't even know what's going on with Travis Etienne, but we'll talk about him in a little bit because he's on one of these sits. James Robinson is a plug-in start. If you drafted him with one of your late picks, congratulations. This guy is just a monster. You start him. Don't think twice about it. There's not much to really say. I I think it's a great start. He faces the Chargers. It should be a high scoring game. If not, if the Chargers blow away this game, they still get garbage time. James Robinson led the passing work as well last week. He was leading the passing work over Travis Etienne. So James Robinson looks like he's back into action. So it's freaking awesome. So Chris, you want to give another name or no?
Yeah, I had Tony Pollard. I think Tony Pollard's
Oh,
gonna
that's
be
a
a
great
solid
start. Yeah,
game against the Giants. Giants have good a good secondary defense, but the rushing not as much. I think Tony Pollard. We've seen how great he did with Cooper Rush last week. And I feel confident starting him again, especially with Ezekiel Elliott struggles as well. Just the whole team struggle as well. And you know, if it's a low scoring game, high scoring game, whatever. But I
definitely.
think Tony Pollard's gonna get to work in.
I definitely agree with you that he was just about to make my list, but I really was confident in Jeff Wilson. Tony Pollard,
Hmm.
I think you definitely plug him in. I do agree with that 100%. Give me your wide receiver start of the week.
Right. Why would say I have Garrett Wilson
Hmm.
as your start of the week. I think he's silenced a lot of I guess you say haters, critics, people that were worried. He looked great. He looked amazing. Um, you even have people talking about that. I saw on TikTok the saying that that he looked like early Devontae Adams, which is crazy because it's only
I
one
we
game.
gotta rely. See,
But
this is the problem of being a Jet fan. I can't hear that. I can't hear that, bro. I can
listen, they
personally,
both were number 17. I mean,
I
listen.
personally cannot hear that as a Jet fan. It makes me nervous.
But yeah, I think he has a great game. Especially with the Bengals struggles. I mean, and like you said, Joe Flacco throws the ball a lot. And
Oh,
if
it's
even if they
ridiculous.
lose the game or are losing the game late, expect a lot of garbage time points from him too because they have to throw the ball to get back into the game. So definitely, I like Garrett Wilson.
100% agree with you there, brother. Um, My wide receiver star of the week is Drake London. He had his breakout game. He led the team in targets, and he has a great matchup. He's facing Seattle. I don't
Yeah,
know why you shouldn't start him if you're nervous about Mariota. It's clear that Mariota loves Drake London,
loves.
and as long as Mariota is the quarterback, I think he's a solid start. Now there is question that if Atlanta keeps losing, they might bring in the backup Ritter, that's his name. They might bring him in. Now, that will concern me just a little bit just because Jake London is a special talent, a top 10 draft pick, but I would like to see what would happen if Drake where does Ritter throw to? Because the talk about Atlanta is what's going on with Kyle Pitts. So if
Right.
he comes in, he might throw to Kyle Pitts and give him 15 targets and give Jake London just 5. So as long as Mariota is the quarterback, I think you plug him. I think he's a stud. Has a tremendous matchup against Seattle. So I will plug him in. I love him a lot. C start wide receiver start of the week. Another Jaguar. I don't know why you wouldn't be starting him, but his start of the week is Christian Kirk. Without a doubt, Trevor Lawrence is number one target. They gave him a lot of money for a reason. He looks good. He actually looks really good. I
It's
didn't
good.
think he'll
It's
look
good.
that good, but he looks really good. That's his target. You're facing on the Chargers defense. If Jackson isn't playing, then I think he even gets more. But if he is playing, could be a little hard for him to get a lot of points, but I think he's still a solid start where he can get garbage time against the Chargers defense. Give me your tight end start of the week, Chris.
Tight end, I got Gerald Everett, and we talked about that if he's
I'm
on the
gonna give
waivers
you a
and he
second.
needs a tight end, expect a Gerald Everett to
It's
pick up
very
Gerald Everett
laggy.
Chiefs. I believe he just had a touchdown. Okay, no problem.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It was just like it like froze and everything, so I'm giving it a
Oh
second
no,
to go
you
through.
good.
All right, so yeah, heck, keep going.
You good. So yeah, Gerald Everett is definitely my start of the week. He's really the only big tight end. Kansas City, he had a touchdown. About I don't even have the exact stats, but he did great. And like I said, on a high-powered offense, assuming everything's okay with Justin Herbert, which it looks like everything's okay, and he
Yeah,
will start this game. Um, definitely is a valuable start against the
yeah.
Jaguars.
Listen, when you have a tight end like George Kittle has been out a couple weeks. I think Everett is a great plug and start. You could definitely plug him in. I do agree with that. we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, but hopefully it all just works out and it just goes in through smoothly. My tight end start of the week is I went a little deeper in the names. I went Irv Smith Jr. from the Minnesota
Mhm.
Vikings. He looked really good in his week 2 matchup against Philadelphia. Kirk Cousins gave him a red zone target. He scored the touchdown. He finished off the week with 15 points last week, around that range. He's really solid. I think you could trust him. You could plug him in if you're worried about Kyle Pitts, if George Kittle can't go still, I think Irv Smith is a really good start. Even TJ Hawkinson, if you're not trusting TJ and you want to sit him down for the week, I think you plug in Irv Smith and I think he produces really well. Speaking of Kyle Pitts, that is C's start tight end start of the week. Now I'm gonna talk and defend it like if this is C talking. This is probably what he would say. Is look, do not panic. You gotta trust him. You gotta start him. You drafted him with your third pick probably, so you're gonna have to start him. And I understand you guys are worried, and you just have to hope that it works out because you
Yep.
wasted so much draft capital that you have to. It needs to work. If it doesn't work, it's probably one of the worst picks of your draft, and it
Yeah.
probably is gonna ruin your season because if you don't have the top four, top three tight ends eh, right now, if you don't have Travis Kelsey, Mark Andrews, and maybe Darren Waller, and maybe George Kittle, maybe you're having issues all around your tight end issues. But
Yep.
Kyle Pitts was very high on everybody's list. Uh, People had him finishing tight end one, and right now it does not look good. And what C is saying here is to trust it and to start him. Now, I'm gonna talk in my point of view. Um, I don't like where he's at right now. I'm not happy about it. I don't like it. If I am a Kyle Pitt owner, I am panicking because when they asked the coach about it, he said, "Look, this is not fantasy. We're playing to win." And I don't like that response because I don't know if they're gonna get him involved more
Yep.
or not. And I do not like what the head coach said. Um, I will be panicked. I'm not gonna lie. If I don't have Kyle Pitts because he was too high for me, but if I had him, I will be panicked right now, and I wouldn't be happy. You have to start him, like I said, but I'm very worried. If Kyle
Yep.
Pitts gives you another stinker, are you starting him week 4?
I mean, you kind of have to. I mean, like you said, he's drafted pretty high. I mean, you got no choice but to start him unless, listen, unless you have the top three, top four tight ends. I mean, yeah, you could get a tight end off the waiver, but I mean, you have no choice but to start him.
Now, yeah, listen, I don't
I
know
don't
what
know.
I would do,
I don't know
but
what to
I
do.
would
Yeah.
say this: if he was to have a bad week again, and I don't have a solid tight end, I'm just plugging in Jamal Everett maybe, or I'm plugging in one of these guys. It's a it's a buy low candidate that I think you could buy low on Kyle Pitts. Maybe give up whatever tight end you have besides the top three, and maybe it pans out. But you may go through that same trouble that what they're going through now. I wouldn't do it. I don't want to do it. I am I have Dallas Goddard in one of my other leagues. He's solid. The guy is just solid. Like he's not.
Definitely.
If he gives you a touchdown, then he gives you a monster week. If not, he's just doing what he has to do. I love Dallas Goddard. So amazing. Let's go into the sits. Chris, give me your quarterback sit of the week.
All right. I have for the second week in a row on a podcast, Mr. Tom Brady.
Yeah, that's not good.
You know, it's not good, and to me, he looks a little off. I don't know if he looks off to anybody else. He doesn't look in it. Something's off with him. I don't know if the team struggles or he's just not in it.
Could be
But
his
he's,
personal problems.
it could be that translating on the field. But you're playing Green Bay, very solid defense. You have so many problems going on with your wide receivers injury wise. And I just don't think it's a great situation. If you have another good quarterback on your bench that you could plug in that has a better matchup than Tom Brady, I definitely would do it. Like I was talking to we was talking to Ishmael the other day. He had Matthew Stafford on his bench, and he had Tom Brady starting.
I will
He said,
start Matthew Stafford in a
and
heartbeat.
Ishmael, he's a diehard Patriots and Tom Brady fan. Um, and for him to sit down Tom Brady means, you know, something's wearing. So
Listen, you
definitely,
have to
Tom
put the
Brady
love
gets it.
aside with fantasy. It's just the
Yeah.
best advice I could give you. You have to put like your love aside. Now, like for example, if I'm a Jet fan, I have Brees Hall on one of my leagues. It makes me harder as a Jet fan to go crazy. But I'm a Jet fan first and fantasy second. So
Yep.
you have to put your love aside when it comes to fantasy. Like Tom Brady hasn't looked good. He doesn't have Mike Evans. We just said that Chris Godwin and Julio Jones did not practice Thursday, which is a big concern. He Aaron Green Bay's defense is a top 10 defense. So I don't like it. I'd rather just start Matthew Stafford against the Cardinals defense. Their defense is non-existent. Cooper Cup is gonna go freaking bonkers. Like
Bananas.
you
Yep.
have to. You have to start him. You have to put your love aside and just go with your matchups, especially if you need a win. If you're 0-2, forget about. I don't care if I love you. If you're playing terrible, I gotta take you out. I
Yep.
agree. It's maybe this is Tom Brady's year. Maybe it's finally the year Tom Brady comes back down to earth.
I
He's not
I think it is. I have something that's saying that's it.
like
I
hopefully
hope
because as
I
a
hope
Jet fan,
so.
listen,
Get him out of here.
they're 2-0 though. That's the crazy part. They're 2-0, but he doesn't look great. The offense doesn't look good. You will have to assume eventually the offense picks up, but if I put my money on it, my money would be that it will be when Mike Evans is there, Julio Jones, Chris Godwin, and Cole Beasley now. So I agree. Sit him this week.
Unless Tom Brady signs with Miami. Right, Jacob?
He ain't going back. Tua Tagovailoa is gonna be their quarterback apparently. He's the next. What was that guy? Oh my god. Whatever. Let's just get into.
He's that guy.
Yeah, apparently Tua is a top 5 quarterback all of a sudden. My quarterback sit of the week is another Hall of Famer and probably another Super Bowl winning quarterback, Russell Wilson. Here, that offense is not working right now. The coach management that we talked about, they don't know how to run the clock. And Russell Wilson in general just doesn't look good. He doesn't look comfortable. He looks like he doesn't learn. He doesn't look like he even likes the system that he's running right now. So right now, I'm sitting him. I have him in one of my leagues. I'm probably gonna sit him. And I'm probably gonna plug in Joe Flacco. Like I'm not even joking. Like I don't like Russell Wilson, and I don't like what he's doing. Can you find out who he's playing? I remember who he's playing, but I don't like the matchup to begin with.
San Francisco.
Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, San Fran is a great defensive team. It's a primetime game. I just don't like it. I really don't like his
Oh, yeah,
matchup.
Sunday night. Wow.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm going with a different quarterback. I'm gonna sit him. He needs to come back in my good graces because I was high on him and not producing. I will not start him. The guy we was just talking about. See, his quarterback sit of the week is Tua Tagovailoa. Now listen, he had a great week. He did a great comeback, but do not expect Tua to throw 6 touchdowns ever again. I will bank money that he does not do that again. I don't think he's a startable quarterback yet. I think you need to wait. If he's producing 20 to 25 a week, then. But I do not think it. He has a tough matchup against the Buffalo Bills. Yes, they're home, but look what Buffalo has done the last 2 weeks. That defense is no joke. Yes,
They gave up only 17 points in 2 weeks.
listen, yes, they shut down Ryan Tannehill, not great. They shut down Matthew Stafford, who that offense was supposed to be a high-powered offense. I'm not starting Tua. I do not. You could pick him up, be excited, yay, 50 points. I don't start him. I'll tell you right now, that'd probably be the worst start if you start him. I agree 100% to not start him. You can hold him on your bench, see what he does. Yeah, I want to start him. Running back sit, Chris. What do you got?
I got this guy, and I know last podcast I
I
said I
had him.
wouldn't give up on him.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
you had him, and I said I wouldn't give up on him. I still am not. I have him on my team, and I do have him starting. But this is advice to everybody else who does have him and has a better situation on their bench that has a better matchup. I say Travis Etienne. Like you said already, James, you had him as your start. James or Chris had him as a start. Sorry, James Robinson is the guy. He's the main. He's the main guy. He's the RB1 of the team, obviously. I could be wrong. We could the Chargers could have a big lead, and then garbage time. Travis
Yeah.
Etienne gets some points, but right now I'm very scared to start him. I'm starting because I honestly don't have a better situation to replace him as of right now. So I'm going to start him. But yeah, I think it's just a bad matchup, bad no.
Are you starting Travis Etienne or Devin Singletary?
Definitely Devin Singletary. He showed me a lot more. I like him better. Yeah, as of right
So
now.
here comes C's sit of the week, Devin Singletary. He does not like the matchup for the Buffalo Bills. You know
And
that D line is serious.
you
That
shouldn't.
that
I mean, look at the Week 1.
yeah that D line is serious. And you know right now I don't understand why Devin Singletary is not getting. They just don't run. Bills could beat you by a million points and they're still going to throw. They were winning 30 points to 7 and they were still throwing the ball. Devil
Yep.
Singletary's last 2 weeks has had 8 attempts and 6 attempts, but he looks like the better running back, but they just don't run. So Devil Singletary is a big sit, and I do agree. I probably would start Travis Etienne over Singletary. I just wanted to see what you would say because you just don't know at this point. Bills, every year you bring up Singletary, you think he could give you a production, and the Bills just don't run the ball. Usually, when
Yep.
a team is winning by 30 points, they start running the ball to eat clock. They don't run. They don't run.
Not even that when they hand off the ball. If you watch the games when they hand off the ball, he gets good. He gets 7, 8 yards. He gets you good yards, but then it's like he gets a good rush and then they throw the ball
If he's
ten
only
times in a
gonna
row.
get 8 and 6 opportunities, that's
Yeah,
it's not it's useless. It's
it's
bench. You sit on
yeah.
my bench. Like you're not gonna do anything. So definitely a sit. My running back sit of the week is J.K. Dobbins. It looks like he's gonna play this week. I will not start him off his first week healthy. You need to see what the Ravens do. Um, he was confident that he wasn't going to hit the pubs list, and he's missing. He missed 2 weeks already. So
Yeah.
I think that his injury is a real concern. If you drafted him, I would say bench him. You probably have better options right now to flex in and see what he does with his first week back. I would sit him. I don't trust it. Ravens definitely do need him. He's probably is the best running back there, but Lamar Jackson is technically the best running back, and then it's him. So I want to start him. I don't like his opportunity this week. Um, Give me your wide receiver sit of the week, Chris.
I have Alan Lazard, and we already talked about how what they did not practice, so he was limited in practice.
He did not practice
This week
today.
he did not practice. I mean, that's just like we said. If they're not practicing on Thursday, it's not a good sign.
Yeah.
So just look out for that report. Sunday morning. Look out for it because you don't want to
What if
have
he
him
is
starting
playing? You still
and
have
he's
him on
out.
your sit, right? If he is playing.
I still have him. Yeah, I still have
Yeah.
him as my sit. Because they're playing a Tampa Bay's defense is great. And I don't know. There's just from what I've seen from that backfield and how much attention they get.
Yeah, they
Um.
do.
Uh. Yeah. I definitely. Yeah. I would
By the
sit. I
way,
don't.
did you know that AJ didn't even after last week what Aaron Jones did you know that AJ didn't actually led in
Yeah.
snaps, 2 more snaps than than Aaron Jones?
Because Aaron Jones was rushing for 15 yards per attempt. They couldn't stop him. It
But
was crazy.
but AJ Dillon still led the team in
Yeah.
snaps, which is crazy. They were still like if you're AJ Dillon owner and he only gave you 10 points, I wouldn't worry about it,
Don't worry
honestly.
about it. Yeah.
They're both
Not
gonna
at
do
all.
great. But I definitely do agree with Alan Lazard. At this point, we don't even know what's going on with Green Bay as well.
Yeah. And
Uh,
last week, didn't he only have one reception?
Last
It
game,
was like one reception
he
for a
only had
touchdown.
9 points. Yeah, he scored a touchdown, which is good, but he only had like
Yeah.
9 points, so he didn't really produce
Yeah.
after that. So right now, you're gonna have to just wait and see with this Green Bay offense. It looks like Kansas City's offense. Like one guy gets attention, and the next week, it's the ball's moving all over the place. The only for sure thing is that Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon are gonna get work, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
After that, you don't even know anymore. So I do agree. Um, C's wide receiver start set of the week. It was Amari Cooper, but he did change because the game is tonight, and no one's not gonna hear this until tomorrow. But I would say Amari Cooper, I would sit him as well. I don't like his matchup against the Steelers, but he changed it to Terry McLaurin. Now I'm trying to think why, because I'm looking and Terry's last 2 starts. They one got saved by touchdown. The other one, he only gave you 12 points. So he's saying to sit Terry McLaurin. Now I know why. Because they're facing the Philadelphia
Yep. I was
Eagles.
just gonna say that.
And
Yeah.
Slay, if he could hold down Justin Jefferson, he's
Oh
probably
my
gonna hold
God.
down Terry McLaurin. So that matchup is a very tough matchup. So I would say if you have a better option to sit him, but if you don't, you probably have to start him based on where you drafted him at. You probably have no choice, but probably don't expect much because if he can lock down Jetta, probably can lock down everybody else. So I would
Yeah.
agree on that end to sit Terry McLaurin, but you may not have another option. My wide receiver sit of the week at this point, if he does this again, it's just dropping him. Daryl Mooney. A lot of hype for Daryl Mooney because he was the wide receiver one for the Bears. He was going to get all the attention, get all the targets. Guy looks terrible. Did you know that in last week's game, Justin Fields only threw the ball 7 times? How do you
Wow.
expect to win a game if your quarterback only throws 7 times? How? How do you expect to win? If the Bears are going to play this type of offense, I don't want nobody but David Montgomery. I don't want nobody. I'm dropping Daryl Mooney. I'm dropping Cole Kmet. I'm dropping every single person. How are you expect to get any fantasy value or even win the game? Matter of fact, if you're only throwing the ball 7 times, and Green Bay was beating the Bears by double figures, and I don't understand how they still ran the ball. And then, Justin Fields is a good quarterback. I don't get it. It's very confusing. I want no part of that passing offense. If you have Daryl Mooney, I don't care where you drafted him at. He needs to ride your bench until Justin Fields can throw the ball more than 10 times. You have Joe Flacco throwing the ball 50 plus times in the last 2 weeks, and Justin Fields went through 7 times last week. And week one, everybody said, oh, ignore week one because of the weather. Okay, I ignored it. Why week two? The weather is perfectly fine. He throws the ball 7 times. This is ridiculous. The coaching
I
over
can't
there,
agree with
the
that more.
coaching looks terrible. I want no part of this passing offense. Please listen to me, everybody. Sit Daryl Mooney until Justin Fields can actually throw the ball more than 7 times. Give me a tight end sit of the week.
Um, Again, another Chicago Bear, Cole Kmet.
I don't know how
Yeah,
much.
he gave you 2 donuts in a row. I mean,
Drop him.
yes, they're playing Houston, but you just said it. I mean, if they're only throwing 7 times, what is he getting? 1 attempt, 2 attempts? I
And they were
mean,
joking about it earlier that Daryl
I
Mooney
don't know.
actually leads the team in target shares, but he's not.
That's
He got like
wild.
2 targets. I want no part of that offense. Keep going. I'm sorry.
No, that's there's nothing else to say. Set him down. Don't start him.
Listen,
Drop
I
him if
don't.
you have to. 2 donuts in a row
Oh
and an
no,
offense
yeah,
that can't throw the ball.
that's 100% a drop. It's a drop. Like it could he yeah. I'm sorry. He threw 11 times. He went 7 for 11. Just 11 times he threw the ball.
Hey, but I mean, his completion percentage was pretty good.
He probably has the best completions right now because I just don't understand. Like how do you expect to win? I don't get like if I'm a Bears fan right now, I am losing my mind. I'm Did you know Daryl Mooney scored six no 0.6 points last week? He had 2 targets for 1 reception for -4 yards.
Wow.
Put him on your bench. I don't get it. It's freaking ridiculous. I'm so happy I'm not a Bears fan right now. I don't think I'm. I can be more happy to be a Jet fan. I think you'd be more happy to be any fan right now than a Chicago Bear. Very
I'll
sad.
burn my jersey.
I I don't know.
These guys are
Uh
like, I am never leaving.
uh C's tight end start sit of the week is Albert O from Denver Broncos. I think for the same reasons of why Russell Wilson. That's the main reason. Russell Wilson is not really throwing the ball. I think the only person you could start is Javante Williams, Melvin Gordon, and Cortland Sutton. I think besides that, you can't really
Yeah.
start nobody else. They have a tough matchup against San Francisco. San Francisco is pretty good against tight ends. So if you have a better option, I would start that better option. Albert O maybe is not a consistent tight end. My sit tight end is we talked about him earlier. TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah.
It looks like he's just the outman out. Like he's just the guy left out of the picture. I really thought he would get a lot more involved in my mock drafts. I was taking him I like towards the end because I did think he produced something. He's producing jack. He got more points than Kokomet though, but but he's just not doing good at all. Like I think you need to sit him down and wait to see if excuse me, if he produces. He doesn't look good. I don't like what TJ's doing. Yeah, it doesn't look good. I'm
He's
not
just there to
high.
block.
Yeah. Yeah, right now that's what it looks like. Right now, in the Detroit offense, you're starting Amon. You're starting probably Jamal Williams if you need a flex option, and you're starting DeAndre Swift. TJ, I wouldn't start him. I would much rather start Irv Smith over him. I would start. All right. Well, you kind of have to, but let's just say for take away the draft capital right now. Who would you start, Kyle Pitts or TJ Hawkinson? Who has more of a chance?
Kyle Pitts.
Okay. I would start Everett over TJ 100%.
Yeah.
And I would even start Albert O over him, and he's on the sit list too. I would start him over. At this point, TJ does not look good. But that was our start and sits throughout the weeks. Last week we went over them. We'll do the same thing in the next podcast. Well, on Monday's podcast, we're gonna go over our starts and sits, see how we did, see how these players produce. Now, I feel a lot more confident that these guys are just gonna blow up this week. I do think everybody we mentioned is a great start. I think everybody we mentioned to sit is a great sit. I do think we are gonna do another podcast tomorrow, and tomorrow we're gonna give a preview of majority of the games. We're gonna have a special guest tomorrow, and we're gonna go through everything, and everything will be uploaded and ready to go on Saturday. Um, that was our starts and sits. If you have any questions, reach out to us and have fun with today's matchup. If you have one of your guys, as Chris is a Steelers fan, he's gonna be all into this game. You never know if Steelers can pull off a win. I think this is gonna be
And I have no one starting on my team on this
yeah.
game.
I
So
think this is like the lowest scoring game that we're gonna get. I think it'll probably be like like 14 to like 7. Like I don't even know what's gonna happen. It might be field goals. I think this game is gonna be a low scoring game. I think if you have Kareem Hunt, Najee Harris, probably Pat Frymuth, I would start as well over TJ. I would have gave him the start this week, but it's too late. Before you hear this. But yeah, I'm with you. I think the Browns to win, but
Yeah.
I don't like taking. I just don't like Jacoby Brissett. But I
uh,
don't like
don't
both
get me wrong.
quarterbacks.
I'm gonna be all in on this game,
I don't like
and I
both
want them to
quarterbacks.
win. But
My thing
just
is, it's TJ Watt. If he was there, it's so good because you can stop the running. But listen, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are very two good running backs. It should be an interesting game. But this is J and C. I'm not even gonna say the S. This is J and C podcast because C is not here. He didn't care enough to be here. It's all right. He'll be in the next one. No, he won't. He'll probably be on Monday. We never know. So that's J and C podcast. We'll hit you guys back up. This is the end. Have a good week. We'll see you. Peace.